Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. We are back at it, ready to have some fun with Discovery Series number 10. Woo! Discovery Series number 10. So, funny story, Mrs. Judge calls me. She's like, hey, I was actually out running errands. She's like, you just got a package from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So I'm like, turned around, came right home, do not pass go, did not collect $200. No, all jokes aside, I was honestly very surprised that they sent this, which is really cool. So very excited to dive into Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series number 10. But before we do so, real quick, just want to give a huge shout out to my newest patron, my good friend Matt Burrows. So Matt, thanks for becoming a patron, supporting the Bourbon Judge, as well as to say thank you to all my patrons. We, have a blast from all of our contests, going back and forth on Discord, what we're sipping, what we're enjoying, trading whiskey, barrel picks. So we always have a blast. So again, thank you to Matt, as well as all my patrons, as well as everyone else who watches the channel as well. Cool? All right. So when you think of Bardstown Bourbon Company, for me, a couple of things come to mind. So number one, they just released the Origin series this year. Everyone loves the Origin series, the white label, the black label, the bottled and bond, and then of course most recently the rye whiskey as well, right? So they just released their own series, which is great, the Origin series, which is great. But when you think back, one of their series that many of us, including myself, love, we look forward to each and every release, is this bad boy here, Discovery Series. Now, historically, when you think of the Discovery Series, you think of the nice, the beautiful bottle, and you always see the red label, right? Get the red label on the side. Bardstown Bourbon Company, they're always straightforward. They're going to give you the mash bills on the right-hand side, the age of the whiskey, and what state it's from. Of course, they don't and can't share which actual distillery, but many of us can kind of guess in most cases. All right, fast forward to Discovery Series number 10. So this literally just released on Friday, and I mean just released on Friday at Bardstown Bourbon Company. So they were kind enough to send out this nice box. As cousin Anita would say, fancy. Let's go ahead and unbox Bardstown Bourbon Company. Cool? All right, let's open this bad boy up. So you got the nice, beautiful visual of the mash bill and the breakdown of the whiskeys that they blend together. One thing I will say, Bardstown does a really good job of blending damn good whiskey when it comes to the Discovery Series. I think number 8 was probably my all-time favorite. Number 9's up there too, though. I mean, each and every release has always typically been honestly a hit. It really has. All right, so that's the little profile, if you will. We're gonna keep this out and read it. Also in the box, let me let you guys see this box so everyone can see. They have the whiskey in there. You'll see the bottle in a second. And they also even threw in, which is very nice, some truffles. I think I'll have to give those to Mrs. Judge. Got to be a good husband. All right, let's bring out the whiskey. Close up the box. All right, so as we can tell, the first major difference of Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series number 10 is the label. So the label is no longer red, folks. It is now white. A little rebranding going on, which, hey, I'm a marketing guy myself. I love the label. So this is series number 10. So this one comes in at 114.24 proof. So 114.24. Let's go ahead and pour this. So 114.24 proof. MSRP on this one, it's about still the same. It's about $140 plus tax depending on where you live. Probably closer to like $150, $155. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a double review today. I'm going to give you my judgment on whether or not this is a buy and how does it compare to number 9. So I have number 9 out here as well. So let's actually compare them, the two of them, just so we can kind of compare and contrast. Cool? All right. Pop that open. All right. So what I like about number 10, the new one, is the fact that this is slightly different. As Bardstown even says here, their goal is always to, the art of blending, thoughtfully selecting individual whiskeys that are better together, greater together than they are as separate entities. So that is always pretty cool. And I would agree with that as well from previous ones. So what is the breakdown of number 10? So 62% of this is Kentucky whiskey or Kentucky or bourbon, which is aged 9 years. Has notes of vanilla, cinnamon, and caramel with roasted peanuts. 18% of this is Kentucky bourbon, aged 13 years. Notes of candied cherries, ripe red fruits, and baking spices. We probably know which this distillery is based off of the mash bill breakdown. The other 8% coming from Kentucky is 6-year bourbon, complex malt notes with a youthful spice and smoke. So we probably, my guess based off of this mash bill, this 8% is probably their own whiskey, right? The Origin Series, aged 6 years. That's just my guess. Not confirmed, just the judge's guess. So what's cool about this is that 88% of this is coming from Kentucky. I like that by itself. So 88% of this kind of, blend, if you will, is coming from Kentucky whiskey itself. The other 12%, you got 2% coming from Tennessee, 10-year whiskey, notes of orange peel, mixed nuts, and caramel. More than likely that 2%, that Tennessee, I would guess is Dickel. We don't know, but that's just a guess. And then last but not least, the other 10% is coming from Georgia, 10-year bourbon. Rich caramel, providing layers of flavor, earthiness, and depth. So 88% Kentucky, 12% not Kentucky, 2% Tennessee, 10% Georgia. So there we go. This is interesting, very interesting. Now, I will say in number 9, if you recall in number 9, they did blend in some Georgia whiskey as well. It was 8-year. So Georgia whiskey has been in the Discovery Series before. And of course the Tennessee, probably Dickel, that's always been there. But this whole 88%, the majority of it coming from Kentucky, that's definitely new. All right, where should we start? Let's go with number 10 and then we'll go with number 9. All right, so here we go. So number 10, mostly Kentucky whiskey blended in with a little bit of Tennessee and a little bit of Georgia. All right, here we go. So when you blend in different whiskeys from different distilleries, you never know exactly what you're going to get, especially being that all of these have, of course, different mash bills. The notes on each as an individual are different as well. I love how they do kind of call that out in their description. But when you blend them together, it's like, what's the finished product going to be like? Wow. So this is definitely complex. Damn. This is different. So I'll tell you what stands out a lot. Definitely a lot of traditional caramel. The baking spices are in here. The caramel. Smidge of some of the fruit notes, but not dark fruit notes, more of like a apple, maybe some strawberries, some apple notes, some strawberry notes, some baking spices, some caramel. In the far background, a smidge of even like a nutmeg, kind of a note in the far back. Wow, that apple note, which is really funny, that apple note and those baking spices are just coming through big time. So the apple note and the baking spices are big time, especially with the caramel as well, kind of layered in almost as well. And then that nutmeg, like the nutmeg note kind of in the background. Nutmeg and cinnamon in the background, yeah. Wow, this is really nice on the nose. I could just nose this all day. I mean, this is really, really nice. Damn. All right, folks, here we go. All right, 3 quick, easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know what are your thoughts on just Bardstown Bourbon Company, the Discovery Series as a whole. Last but not least, please make sure you also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? All right. Cheers, everybody. Oh, wow. Ooh. What's the proof on this? 114.24. That has a little heat on it. Oh, yeah. Let me get a little bit more. Wow. What's interesting about this is that everything that was in the nose, wow, that's very earthy too in the background, in the palate. That's so different than a normal traditional Discovery Series. Very much earth notes kind of came, like very much like earthy, spicy, peppery. You still did get a lot of like the caramel, the apple, the vanilla, even like those notes of like the cinnamon and nutmeg, that all came through in the palate and the finish. That at 114.24 was very powerful actually, and pretty damn good. Let me get a little bit more. But what was surprising is how earthy it is in the palate. I didn't really get that in the nose. Very earthy, very spicy and peppery. A lot more in the palate than it was in the nose. The palate and the finish. Oh, wow. I need a little bit more before I compare it to number 9. Just a smidge more. Wow, that's bold. Bold and robust. All right. Just another smidge before I cleanse my palate and then go over to number 9. Wow, folks, this is nice. Jeez. Wow. Wow. Way more bold and vibrant than the traditional Discovery series. I like that. All right. Hold on. Let me cleanse the palate. Damn. Uh-oh. Woo! Houston, we might have a problem. Discovery series taking on a whole different light. This is different. That's very bold, very vibrant, and very smoky and earthy. I like that. All right, here we go. Number 9. Going back old school. So number 9, just kind of Cliff Notes version, was 35% Georgia 8-year, 31% Kentucky 12-year, 19% Tennessee 17-year, and 15% Ontario, Canada 12-year. All right. Here we go. Okay. That's the key difference in the two. And that makes sense. Number 9, number 8, even 7, and definitely 6. 6 was very fruit forward. Because these had, how much was there in there? Almost 20%, 19% to be exact, Tennessee in there. And this only has 2%. Those traditional like Dickel notes, like that medicinal cherry kind of a note, it definitely lives a lot more in the older Discovery series. These number 9, 8, 7, 6 kind of going backwards had a lot more fruit in them. A lot more like darker fruits, like your plum notes, your blackberry notes. This one is more of like a true kind of a bourbon kind of a, if you will, more caramel, more vanilla, more apples, a lot more peppery in the palate, a lot more nutmeg, not as dark fruit, so less dark fruit, a lot more dark fruit, right? That's the complete difference. This one's a lot sweeter compared to this one. Let me get a little bit more of number 9. Oh yeah. Number 9 is extremely like sweet, if you will, compared to the traditional, or the new one I should say, number 10. Oh, man, this is a tough one. So if you're asking me, Judge, 2 questions. Number 1, is Bardstown Discovery Series number 10 a buy? For me, it's definitely a buy. This is in a lane of its own. It's completely different though than number 9, number 8, or number 7. Like I said, number 9, 8, 7, because they had like that Dickel, at least number 9, because it has that Tennessee in there and a strong presence of Tennessee whiskey, it's extremely like darker fruits, like those plum notes, those blackberry notes, a lot sweeter. This lives more in the lane of like a really just well-balanced whiskey as a whole. Tons of like caramel, tons of pepper, apple notes, nutmeg, baking spices. This is completely different. Number 10 is completely different than number 9, 8. I would almost say, honestly, compared to any other Discovery series you've ever had. That is pretty damn good in its own lane. Folks, I can't say that this is, so I'll give you the second judgment. I can't say that number 9 or number 10 is better than the other. They are equally good in different ways. So my last decision is a split decision. I'm not saying 10 is better than 9. They're just completely different. And for me, that is damn good. All right, friends, until next time, peace, cheers, most important, salute. Take care.